Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I am Felrus. Thank you for joining me to play some Raid Shadow Legends today. Guys, today we are going to tackle one of the hardest bosses in Raid Shadow Legends using only free-to-play champions. But before we do that, if you are interested in starting a new Raid account, you can go ahead and use my link in the description below to be rewarded with a free legendary champion, Corrado, as well as 3 free epics as you progress your account, guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the ultimate boss in Raid Shadow Legends, the Fire Knight. Guys, we're going to take a look at what this boss does and how exactly you too can clear stage 20 of this boss fully free to play. So here's the Fire Knight's castle, guys. As you can see, I have cleared everything up to stage 7 of hard mode, but this boss was a massive struggle for me, especially in the early game. In fact, one of my earliest videos was me getting hyped about pulling a certain champion who we're actually going to be using today, who let me clear Fire Knight for the Arbiter missions. You need to get to stage 20 to be able to complete your Arbiter mission so that you can get your free Arbiter, and that'll be over here in the missions tab. You will be able to get your free Arbiter, but you have to complete stage 20 of every single dungeon, including the Fire Knight, which is probably the hardest dungeon boss in the entire game, guys. So let's take a look at the squad. Let's take a look at what this team does. Guys, it's going to be almost exactly the same as the Dragon squad from yesterday, except we're going to be using Morag instead of Ultimate Gaelic. So what does this boss do? On the A1, it has an AoE, destroy enemy max HP, which is annoying but not super critical. The A2 attacks all enemies with a decreased speed. That is really hurtful. And then, of course, it has the shield. Starts the battle with the shield. While active, the shield reduces the damage he receives by 80% and prevents him from receiving any debuffs or being affected by other skill effects. The shield cannot be removed by skills that remove buffs. Each hit he takes decreases the strength of the shield. The shield will be broken when hit enough times. The shield regenerates every turn. All right, so on stage 20, that shield has a count of 10, so it will break after 10 hits, which means we need to carry enough hits to break the shield and also do damage. Guys, a key for this boss is turn meter control, right? So in my normal Fire Knight team, I run Thor. I mean, he's not super free to play. He's not super budget friendly, but Thor has this A1 that's a double hitter, which is great. And each hit decreases the target's turn meter by 10%. We run him with an ally attacker, right? We run him with Grand Oak Padraig to get extra turn meter decrease from his skills. But we're not using any legendaries. We have to use epics. So what we're going to use today is Geomancer. And Geomancer has a turn meter steal on the A3, guys. So he's going to get back around to his turn meter steal much faster because that is on a 3-turn cooldown. Guys, you can also use Loki for this if you have your Loki booked. 75% chance of stealing all buffs from a target enemy and 100% of their turn meter. Loki was given out for free, so if you've got him, Loki can fill that role as well. He's also got a block buffs, he's got a heal, he's got an AoE, right? He's got Veil, so you can use Loki in this spot as well, but we're going to use Geomancer just because I like to play with epics only stuff, guys. We're also going to be using Ugo, right? Ugo will keep us alive with this heal. You can also use like a Rector Droth. You can use a Sill of the Drakes. Everybody gets a Sill of the Drakes, but Sill of the Drakes doesn't have a drop defense, and that's going to be super important. So Ugo just fills so many roles. She's got the A1 leech. She's got the A2 drop defense with block buffs. The block buffs isn't super important here, but the drop defense is. And she's got the A3 remove heal reduction and then heal by 20% of her max HP. And then her passive is kind of niche. Increase speed and block damage whenever her last living ally is killed. Guys, we're going to be using Whisper as our main damage dealer. Super good against bosses. Boss killer. 20% extra damage against bosses, right? Increase attack, increase crit rate, extra turn on the A3 here on a double hitter if the target's under decreased defense and weaken. So all that is very good. Skull Crusher, of course, is going to be putting out counterattacks so that we can break the shield faster if Geomancer somehow loses turn meter control. So Skull Crusher is going to help us break the shield. And then the ultimate Fire Knight champion on this team, guys, is Morag Bronzelock. Now I'm going to spend a little bit more time on Morag. Guys, I don't have her masteries done, but she is a defense-based support champion. So on the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, double hitter. Each hit will ignore shield buffs. Unfortunately, that does not include the Fire Knight's shield, but it ignores regular shields, guys. On the A2, attacks all enemies, places a 25% strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. So I've talked about Korugar Deathbell before, who has this 75% damage mitigation between ally protection and strengthen on his A3. Well, on this team, we are getting that same thing because Skull Crusher carries a 50% ally protection and Morag carries a 25% strengthen, which adds up to a 75% damage mitigation from those 2 champions, guys. So Morag Bronze Lock on the A3, on the A2, very useful for damage mitigation. That strengthen is super solid. And then on the A3, teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy. Again, fantastic for breaking the shield. The allies joining the attack will always use their default skills. Great move here. Great move here. Ally attack into the shield. We don't have too many double hitters, right? But she carries a double hitter. And then everybody else, I think, is a single hit. Skull Crusher's a single hit. Geo's a single hit. Ugo's a single hit. Whisper's a single hit. So we're really counting on that ally attack, and we're really counting on Morag to break the shield for us. And then on the passive, this is the other thing that makes her so good in Fire Knight. Counterattacks when hit while under a strengthen buff placed by this champion. So she's going to bring her own strengthen here and then counterattack whenever she is hit while under that strengthen. That strengthens on a 3-turn cooldown. You can potentially pick up lasting gifts here to extend the duration of that strengthen so that she's always under strengthen and will always counterattack whenever she is hit, guys. So this champion is going to be absolutely fantastic. She's going to be a tank for this run. Absolutely a stud. The other champion you can use if you're looking for epic Fire Knight options is going to be a barbarian who I unfortunately got rid of super early on. That's going to be Farrakhan the Fat. Now, Farrakhan the Fat brings a team ally attack with crit rate and crit damage. All allies except this champion will attack 1 target enemy. He has attacks 1 enemy with a decreased defense. On the A1, he has a HP burn and 2 poisons on the A2, and he has deflects 20% of all incoming damage this champion receives onto all allies. The damage will be spread equally across all allies, which is a weird passive that I don't fully understand, but it's there, guys. Mostly what you want him for is this ally attack, so you can use him in place of either Skull Crusher or Morag if you don't have one or both of those champions, guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at the run here. Again, we're not in super good gear or anything like that. Again, Morag is just in impulse speed, pinpoint. We're going to try to decrease the duration of that ally attack as much as we can because it is necessary to break the shield, guys. Into the Fire Knight we go. Now, I want to make a preset for this team. I'm not sure entirely how I'm going to because I have so many teams here, guys. All right, let's do this. I don't need a Void Keep team. We're gonna go ahead and put in Geomancer as our leader to make us extra tanky. Morag, Whisper, and Skull Crusher here. We are going to save Morag's ally attack. We're not going to use it until we get to the boss, guys. That's super important that we open with that. Then for Whisper, doesn't really matter. For Skull Crusher, we're going to have him open with this and then not use it again on the A2 so that right on the A3, he can open with his A1, and then we're slightly faster than the boss. So he'll use his ally protection second. Then Ugo, we want first choice, the drop defense for both rounds. And then it really kind of doesn't matter for the boss. She's mostly for the waves. And Geomancer, we're not going to use his Quicksand Grasp until we get to the boss. We again want to open with this so that we can break the shield and then use the Quicksand Grasp as much as possible. Then I think that's everything, guys. I think that's everything. So we're going to save that team and then we're going to go in. Can we beat Fire Knight using an epic only team, guys? I think we absolutely can. Here we go. Strengthen from the Morag. Very good. Drop defense and block buffs from the Ugo. A1 from the Geomancer. Very nice. Whisper putting out 73k. Very good champion. There's Morag with her turn, guys. She's in pinpoint. She is in the 4-piece, so she does have an intercept stack, which isn't particularly helpful here. It's just kind of added on. We are taking hits. That's okay, though. We've got the counterattack up, right? Which is very nice. We're taking some damage, but that's okay because Ugo can just heal us right back up. She'll play some leech. Now, Ugo is bad affinity, but that's okay. You know, she's mostly there to keep us alive and keep that drop defense up, which is very helpful, very useful, guys, especially for Whisper getting extra turns and all that stuff from her A3. Once again, she's got that 10% chance to get an extra turn when inflicting a critical hit, which is very good. There's the Mastery on Whisper, increasing her turn meter. There's the Creeping Petrify, so we're making decently short work of the waves here. It's about what you would expect from a, progression early game team. Of course, it would be faster if we had some AoE damage, but we're not using AoE damage. We're using Whisper as our damage dealer, and Morag is a mad damage dealer. Most of her utility comes from her passive and her strengthen, as well as her ally attack. She enables some damage with that ally attack, but she's not particularly a damage dealer, although I hear that she can be an okay arena nuker, I guess, or a faction wars nuker. I don't have her built that way. I had to rebuild her for this video. I had to rebuild her for this video because she was in damage gear and just wasn't doing any damage. So I just made her as fast as I possibly could instead. Life Drinker, of course, from Whisper coming in super handy because she is so squishy, right? The heal from Ugo will be very nice as well when we get back around to it. And that leech, oh my goodness. So nice, so handy. There we go. We've got Whisper healing up from the leech as well. Again, we're not really making super short work of the waves, but that's just because we don't have any AoE damage. You can bring an AoE nuker if you have one in Whisper's place. I just think Whisper is so fun to play with and everything that, I used her. As far as epics go, might use Ultimate Gaelic, but he's the wrong affinity. Zargala could be really good, as far as epic options that I have. But you have your own account and you have your own options. So, just sub out Whisper with, if you don't have a Whisper, sub out a Whisper with some other AoE damage dealer, some sort of wave clearing champion. There we go, 140. That pure damage, guys, that pure damage is crazy from the A2. But yeah, just some sort of wave clear champion would make this team better. A Zargala, a Ultimate Gaelic, just someone who's the right affinity. We are on Force affinity, so magic champions aren't going to be the best. Ugo is just a healer, right? So Rector Droth and Zargala would probably work if you have them. I recommend that combo a lot, I think, in videos. But, you need an AoE drop defense if you want to progress dungeons. It's really hard to without it. And you also need a lot of healing. Like, when I got Fang Cleric was my best healer for so long. Extra turns from Whisper there, helping break the shield. Yeah, Fang Cleric was my best healer for so long, and he really helped me. There's the turn meter seal. He really helped me clear so much content because he was the best healer I had. The turn meter seal from Geomancer here, coming in super clutch, making sure the Fire Knight doesn't get a turn, making sure we don't have to break that shield again. Guys, the boss is a third of the way dead already, just from Whisper. Just from Whisper, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy what this champion can do. There's 106. Ignore defense. There's the boost turn meter because a buff expired. Very, very good champion. Very good champion. Definitely use her. All right, so we've got some counterattacks now. Here's Morag. Morag's passive is going to trigger. And then we've got the counterattacks helping us break the shield. Then the ally attack just breaks the shield for us, which means Whisper is going to be able to do full damage on her next turn. Geomancer once again stealing the turn meter there. 145k from the Whisper. Ugo is helping us heal and stay alive. Very nice. She and Skull Crusher are a very good combo here. You basically just want champs to keep you alive, champs to break the shield, and then damage, right? That's kind of your formula for a Fire Knight team. You can do it a lot of different ways. Morag is absolutely fantastic. Farrakhan the Fat is absolutely fantastic. Whisper is fun, but not necessary, not strictly necessary, And Geomancer was my way of farming this boss for the longest time because Armon's didn't work because Force Affinity. And Geomancer just has that A3 that fully steals turn meter. Look at those extra turns from Whisper, guys. Super clutch. Yeah, but Geomancer is fantastic to farm this boss because of that A3 Quicksand Grasp. As you can see, he just put it out there. Stole turn meter again. And then, of course, since he's stealing turn meter, he's going to get back around to it even faster than he would normally. Look at that extra turn. Very, very nice from Whisper. And, yeah, I mean, you can farm Fire Knight, guys. You can farm Fire Knight. This team is not hard to build. It's all epics, all free-to-play champions. Oh, we got a 6-star legendary piece, but it doesn't have any speed. So that's going to be a sell. Guys, the pinpoint event dungeon is coming. I will be making a guide on that when it does come out, potentially with all epics. We'll see what I can do. But that will be a fantastic chance. Make sure you're saving your energy. We're going to have a tournament that will give you a free relic. So that'll be absolutely massive. Guys, once again, if you're interested in making a new account, use my link in the description below to be rewarded with a free legendary champion Corrado, as well as 3 free epics as you progress your account. Guys, thank you for watching. Good luck on the Fire Knight. I have been Felrus, and I will see you in another video.